good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution episode. Where are we at? 1060, 1060. Anybody know what the meaning behind 1060 is? 1060 West Addison, home of Wrigley Field. Look at this hair. Wild hair this morning. My TV's on. Wild hair, don't care. My back is absolutely fucking killing me this morning. Took me like 15 seconds to get out of bed. I need to stretch. It's probably because I've just been, part of it was, all right, that's going to annoy me in the background. There we go. I think part of it was because I did a lot of sorting on the floor yesterday, and my back started hurting on Saturday after the card show. And I think it was because just standing, it's probably the combination of sitting on my ass in front of a computer all day, every day. And then all of a sudden I'm standing for 10 hours on hard concrete at a card show. And it was a 2 hour and 15-minute drive home and then back to sitting. Like, I get out of the car after the card show Saturday. I'm like, oh, and it's just been downhill from there. So I need a Shakti mat. And I did a lot of stretching yesterday. And I even I have the neck pillow thing because I'm always down like this. So I use that every night. So last night I was using that and I'm like, I want to put it like underneath my back, even though it's not like formed to my back. At least it's something to like, stretch it the way because I'm hunched over like this. Just need to. So my wife says I should probably hit the treadmill. She's right. I probably should. So, yes, I scheduled my day yesterday around a noon tip-off for my Western Illinois Leathernecks. They had a noon game against Central Arkansas yesterday. So I was really impressed. And I went to, like we do, we go to internet forums and either vent or share our opinions. I shared my opinion because it was a good opinion. Watching the Leatherneck basketball team against Central Arkansas on Scottie Pippen Court down there. I don't even know where's Central Arkansas located. I don't know which city that's in. So I was watching that game. They played really well. Drew Cisse is leading the nation in rebounding. He had another, I think, 18 rebounds yesterday. I think the Leathernecks are second in the country in rebounding, and I think, what did they say? They're in the top 5 in blocks also. Now, those numbers are going to kind of come back to down to earth because I think the Western has played 13 games. 4 have been against non-Division I opponents. So you pad your stats against College and Eureka and St. Ambrose. So now they're I think they start OVC playing next week. So I was watching that game. What I'm impressed with is it's not the actual. It's hard to read when you're a low major and you play Wisconsin and Illinois and then 4 non-Division I teams, and then you sprinkle in some mid majors. They won at Green Bay, it's always good to get road wins when you're at that level. And then a road win against Central Arkansas. But what impressed me the most in yesterday's win was it was a dominating win. I think it was only 11-point differential, but the end of the bench came in toward the end of the game. It got so bad at the end of the game with the reserves that the head coach put his starters back in with like 2 minutes to play because it ended up being as close as 8 points. They were up by like 22. And Central Arkansas got right back into it. 8-point game. Okay, starters, you're back in. So it was an 11-point game, but the starters dominated. What I was most impressed with is They played what was yesterday. Yesterday Wednesday. Yeah, today's Thursday. So they played Monday night at home against I think Eureka. They played Monday night at home, and then they left after the game. So they played a game, got on a bus to Arkansas. They probably flew. So they probably bused to Peoria or the Quad Cities, flew down to Arkansas, probably had a late walkthrough on Tuesday, and then played a noon tip-off. Now, if you've ever played basketball, been around the game, 11 a.m., noon, 1, 2 o'clock, those tip times absolutely suck because it's so out of routine. It's so out of routine. It's like if you're used to working first shift and then all of a sudden your boss says, hey, we need you on second shift tonight. It's like, oh man, it throws your world upside down. So that's kind of what it's like. So to play a game and immediately travel, and then on top of that, play a noon tip on the road and come out and dominate the way they did, I was impressed by that. Now, my concern, there's probably an audience of one people who care about what I'm talking about right now, but I'm going to finish my thought anyway. My concern, though, is when they got to the end of the bench, and I think they got to the really end of the bench because, like, I saw one guy pull down the rebound. And I'm like, ooh, I don't know if he should be on a Division I college basketball team. Is that like the water boy? Like, what are they doing? That's my concern. If one injury happens, I don't know how deep this team. I haven't been paying too close attention. I know some of the names. I know they have more than 5 that play. But I mean, when I was covering it, when I was with the team, traveling with the team, we would go like 6. Like the starters would play. Like 4 of the 5 starters would play the entire 40 minutes, and then we'd have one guy play 32, and then our 6th man got 8 minutes. So that's what you do when you're a low major. So enough Western Illinois basketball talk. I was impressed until the end of the bench came. Hey, we've got Low Roller Scratcher back from his shadow ban. See, I told you I didn't block you, man. That's on you. You must have been typing porno sites or something in your computer, and YouTube banned you. I don't know what you were doing. You're playing illegal skill games. YouTube banned you. So what's up? Happy Thursday. Programming note, tomorrow's Friday. We'll play the Free For All Fridays favorite game, the Name That Player. Saturday we'll go live. Saturday is the 23rd. Sunday we'll go live on Christmas Eve morning. No show on Christmas Day, and probably nothing on Boxing Day, December 26th. And then we'll kick it right back on December 27th. So there we go. And then Madison Card Show. Let's fly. Do I have the banner up for the Madison Card Show? I do. We're getting close to sold out. I think I have a couple tables left, but I think I have like 2 tables left, and I've got 4 potential dealers that want tables. So it's going to be a sold out show regardless. Saturday, December 30th, Sheraton Hotel, John Nolan Drive. I'll be there with quarter boxes. I've got another Goodwill pallet always stocks my bargain boxes. So in this one, man, we're going to talk about my latest Goodwill pallet again this morning because I went through some more boxes last night, and whoo boy, let me tell you, it's been fire. It's been fire. So we'll talk about that today. Let's go to the chat. What do we got going on? David's in the house. What's up? Good morning. Peter's here. Happy Thursday. Flawed Thinker's with us. What's going on? Christian, good morning. Good morning, Kyle. Congrats on all the pallet finds. It looks to be way better than mid-90s NASCAR. So far, so good. Did I find some NASCAR? Oh, I've got some NASCAR. Oh. I don't know if I can bend down. All for NASCAR. Oh, man. And it's like 90s Pinnacle, so they're stuck together. Who do we got? 90s NASCAR, Mark Martin. I've heard of him. Joe Nemechek. Look at that hair. Joe Nemechek. Big old head of hair. Burger King. And we got some cars. We got the number 23. Smokin' Joe. Oh, man. This has got to be like a rarity because this is a Camel Cigarettes car. Jimmy, is that Jimmy? Jimmy Spencer. Of course, that was called the Winston Cup back then. Smokin' Joe's. Look at that. Woo, that's a beauty. Smokin' Joe's Camel Cigarettes. Smokin' Joe. Was Smokin' Joe like was that Joe Gibbs? Who was Smokin' Joe? That sounds like that's his racing team. But it looks like the Camel Cigarettes. Are they sponsored by Camel? I don't know. Kyle would answer. Oh, yeah. On the back, it says, what does it say on the back? Looks like it says Camel Powerade. Camel Power Zone? I don't know. And we got, the Rainbow Warrior. It's Mr. Jeff Gordon. So there you go. A whopping 4 NASCAR cards. I think there was some more in there. There was a box. Where's the box? It's over there, and I don't know if my back can take that. Billy Joe, what's up? Good morning. Shane's here. Good morning, Shane. Flawed Thinker says, I told my wife I want to get one of those motorized desks so I could go between sitting and standing. I did have one of those at my previous job. And so here's the thing. So the manager of the office was like, okay, we're going to get standing if you want, because I think one of the employees wanted a standing desk. So then it's like, well, we can't just give her the good desk and everybody else just gets what you got. So they opened it up to whoever wanted a standing desk. And I think I was the only one. There might have been one other person. And here I have back. No wonder I have back problems. I'm stubborn ass. So my boss, the man, he asked me like 3. He's like, "Are you sure you don't want a standing?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm sure. Like, I'm not gonna use it." So I think I ended up getting one. And then when we moved locations, it was like a real fancy office, like new office, everything's updated, new standing desks. So I actually did use it more than I had anticipated and expected. So, but I'm going to be stubborn and I don't want a standing desk, but I should probably, based on this whole back issue right now, might be helpful. Zach says your back could hurt from carrying around all of that talent. You may need better shoes for the shows when you're on your feet. You know, I think you nailed it. I think it's the shoes. The shoes I've been wearing are, they were really cheap. They're from Nordstrom, but they're old man shoes. They're old man white shoes, but they have, it says they're like, I don't know. It says they're like, but yeah, I think they're like cheap. Well, they were cheap money-wise, but I think they're also cheap and they're killing my back. I should probably go invest in some new shoes. George is in the house, especially before December 30th. George is at least there's carpet at the Sheraton Hotel on John Nolan Drive. Just George is with us. What's going on, George? Zach says the center of Arkansas. That would make sense. That would make sense. Central Arkansas being in the center region of the state of Arkansas. Donald Davis, good morning. Low Roller Scratcher off of his YouTube ban. What's happening? Good morning, Victor. Zach says hi. Actually, a lot of people got YouTube shadow banning this week in the chat and leave a comment any video. I am not the only one having this problem. I don't know. I think you were typing in porn sites. YouTube doesn't like that. You could finally have trolled LES versus him trolling you by acting as if you couldn't see his comments. Chalk another W up for LRS. Hall of Fame card collector says, good morning. Find anything good from Goodwill? Yes. Found a lot of good stuff. We're going to talk about more goodies found in the pallet this morning. Value Box Digger, what's going on? Great video yesterday. I enjoy your off topic, but I especially enjoy your topic-based videos. There you go. YouTube subscribers feed page are down now. Today, YouTube are broke today. Mark Martin is my all-time favorite driver. He's like the Dan Marino of NASCAR, greatest to never win a championship. My favorite driver was, well, let's be honest, I didn't have a favorite driver. But one guy I liked was Dave Marcus because he looked like, I think Dave Marcus, I think we talked about this, right? Kyle will know. I think Dave Marcus is still alive, and I thought he was like 90 years old back in 1993. It's like I remember watching because my dad was a huge NASCAR fan, and I remember watching like Dave. That guy's old, and he was probably like 40. Dave Marcus. Let's see, how old's Dave Marcus? Because this is probably like, I don't know, 93. Dave Marcus. Dave Marcus. He's my dad's age. He's 82. He was born in Wausau, Wisconsin. That's not too far from here, a couple hours north. Dave Marcus. So he was born in 51, 61, 71, 81. So yeah, he was about 50 years old when I thought he was like on the verge of death, of old age. And he's still kicking, Dave Marcus is. It's good to see. Joe is smoking something with his policies. Oh, Joe. Oh, got it. Political. Got it. I'm like, smoking Joe. Let's see. Low Roller says you finally sold your $25 soccer card. Yeah, I sold. This was actually one of the $4 pickups that I pulled out of a $5 box that I got for $4. It was some soccer guy. Mbappe, and it's like a fuchsia refractor numbered to 175. I took a bunch of low roller scratcher offers, a bunch of low ball offers. Like I was getting like $4, $5, $8 offers, and I'm like, nah. Oh, this is the same card where somebody's like, oh, this comps between $8 and $12, not looking into the shipping fees that were coming from China and Korea. That it was like a $15 on top of $8. So I kept steady, kept firm at 25, and it sold at full price. So there you go. Grinding for good. Happy Thursday. What's happening? LRS, please don't bring none of that gambling computer virus over to this chat, right? We don't want that virus that Low Roller Scratcher's getting banned for. Kyle says, absolutely flawed thinker. Mark Martin is Dan Marino. Dan Marino is Mark Martin. Victor says, my standing desk is great. Got it at Costco. Nice. Andy Max says, get some Hoka 1 shoes. Hoka 1. I'm going to type that. Hoka 1. Remember, see, this is a sign of old age. Remember back in the day when we would just go out and buy shoes because Michael Jordan endorsed them, or Allen Iverson, or Shaquille O'Neal, Sean Kemp, Patrick Ewing. Remember that? Like, oh, those are the new whatever. Oh, you got the new Jordans, the new Reebok pumps. And now we're talking about comfortable shoes. Like pretty soon I'm going to be shopping for New Balance. We are fucking old. What's wrong? What's happening? How come time goes so fast? I wish I was as spry as I was when I was younger. I don't want to go back to that age. I just want some of the, like youthful exuberance. Like my back. Like I don't want to hurt when I get out of bed. I don't want to hurt putting my socks on in the morning. Man, we're old. It's like one of my buddy's parties a couple years ago. It's like the dudes are just talking about freaking minivans. I'm like, God, the hell is wrong with us? Life, man. Shane says the people from Card Dealer Pro don't know how this channel works. They spent way too much time on the topic and not enough time on food and drink, nature sightings from windows, and other topics. The funny thing is, I posted the link. There's a bunch of people bitching in the blowout forums, which, I mean, come on, that's a daily occurrence. So I linked to be helpful. Like I did these, by the way, the video I did on the hell night, whatever night it was, Tuesday night. Yeah, Tuesday night. Like I don't get paid for that. Like I'm not on their payroll. I get an affiliate fee. Like if you use my promo code CUBS, CUBS, at carddealerpro.com, I get a small little pittance. That's it. So my affiliation is like your affiliation with Amazon using the Amazon links. So I just do this because I find it super useful. I've had a few issues. And most of them have been addressed. because I must use it differently than others. And I know we all use Card Dealer Pro differently. But it's been like super, I mean, it's super fat. Like the funny thing is nobody really talked about how slow it was. Like the previous version, the 1.0, I guess we'll call it now. Nobody really talked about like the upload time. Like I would scan in, say 100 cards, and as it's identifying, I have to go do other things because it takes like 15 minutes, 10 minutes. Now it's like, boom, it's done. I did, I think 80 cards last night, Sports Illustrated for Kids. And it took 45 seconds to identify 80 cards. Previous version, that would have taken 10 minutes, 12 minutes. And it not only did it correctly identify Sports Illustrated for Kids cards, it correctly identified probably 80% of them, which is 80 percentage points more than the previous version because it didn't recognize them at all. And then I go in and I'm actually working out of the website now as opposed to just exporting the spreadsheet and working out of the spreadsheet. So I've actually altered the way I use it. It's been great. Anyway, I send a couple links in the blowout. We don't want to hear you. Somebody said, I don't want to listen to your show. I just want to hear about the topic. And I'm like, wait, maybe I linked the wrong videos because there was no Hobby Evolution show yesterday. It was Card Dealer Pro Talk. That's it. And then he's like, you should title it appropriately so you're not misleading viewers or whatever. It's like, the hell? Like the first video that I linked was the live tutorial for Card Dealer Pro 2.0, which is exactly what it was. I don't know what person A, B, and C want from a tutorial. Like, this is how I use it. I showed you everything. That's from start to finish how I use Card Dealer Pro 2.0. And if you were there live, you could, hey, can you see this? Can you show this? I would do it if I knew how, or if it was an option. And I went and I linked yesterday, like it was all card. Like, did you even click the links, or are you just assuming that I was talking about Cinnamon Toast Crunch and Casey's Taco Pizza? I don't know. Mark Marinello, what's up? Good morning. Never be cheap with booze or shoes. Sometimes I buy cheap beer. Apparently, I'm wearing cheap shoes. Todd, what's up? He says Cisse is a decent player. He's going to be all conference OVC. He's a freaking stud. Will he keep up 13 rebounds a game once we get into conference play and playing Division I opponents every night? Remains to be seen. Probably not. There's probably going to be a little regression in those stats. But yeah, I think he's going to be a lock if he stays healthy. I think he'll be a lock for all OVC. Dave Marcus is awesome. Sent him cards to sign. TTM multiple times. Always writes back. Super awesome guy. That's good to hear. Zach says, in response to Mark's comment, my dad told me a joke once when we were shopping for a suit. What do cheap pants and a cheap hotel have in common? ... No ballroom. Neil's with us. What's going on, Neil? Good morning. Picked up a nice lot of NBA cards yesterday. Nice. Cooter's in the house. Cooter, what's up? Cooter, the United States Postal Service decapitated Mr. Sandberg. You may see him in the background. Cooter gifted me a Sandberg bobblehead, and I've got to get some super glue. So Mr. Rhino is headless back there. Well, you can see his head. Hall of Fame card collector, why didn't the Card Dealer Pro guys talk about what they had for dinner yesterday like you do? It's my favorite part of the show each day. I had Hot Pockets last night. It was one of those where I went upstairs. I was going through the pallet. My wife's like, I ate leftover. She made like baked ziti, I think is what it was. And like I'm fidgeting this morning because my back hurts. So I'm like trying to get into a comfortable-ish position. So I go upstairs and she's like, I had leftover, which my wife never eats leftovers. So there's a little bit. So I'm like, okay, that's what I'll have. And she's like, you're probably going to need something else. I'm like, oh, I'm just going to have Hot Pockets. So I had Hot Pockets last night. Brian, what's up? Good morning. Kids haven't left for daycare yet, but I'm jumping on to help with views. Thank you. Thank you. Porter's in the house. What's going on? Good morning. Any Nolan Ryans in the pallet? A lot of junk. Well, actually, I haven't really found any junk wax. I mean, some comments, some like random, nothing new. Stuff you've seen. Mark says, I officially became my father when I farted while peeing. Oh, I've been doing that for years. It gets worse as you get older. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just if you're comfortable, just like, let it go. Dan, what's up? Thank you. Appreciate that. Looking forward to figuring out what I'm doing wrong on my end. Hopefully today. I'm sure it's something simple. I know some people were having issues with, where's my CDP? So when you go to export, oh, sweet. And it's up on the screen. When you go to review and export, it seems like there's a couple more. It's not as simplified as click to export. Like there's a couple steps. You got to go to eBay and then, you got to make sure you're not downloading the zip file, which I think Mikey had an issue with yesterday. And then you download the eBay CSV. Boom. There you go. Can I go to the previous screen? Yeah. Let's see. Value box figure. You're asking a lot of people to recognize a positive in anything. That's true. That is true. Shane says the show is actually really good and informative. Thank you for bringing them on. I'll be trying CDP soon. Awesome. All my batches fail when uploading to eBay, so I think it might be related to the custom SKU field or maybe not having a licensed version of Excel. So it's got to be, I think it's got to be a CSV. So well, how were you doing it before? I guess that's my first question. How were you doing it before? Or were you doing it before? I don't think as long as you have a CSV that you're uploading to eBay, it should be working. And are you downloading the CSV? Value Box Seeker says, not to defend anyone, but majority do see Hobby Evolution as a no topic show. It's your show. Do as you want. Absolutely. That's what we've been doing for 1,060 episodes, but I can see where people are coming from. Yeah, but that's the thing. That's the show. It's like Seinfeld. Well, it's a show about nothing. Exactly. That's what it is. That's what it is. I guess my beef with that comment on the blowout forums is because people don't read, or they read a headline and assume. I think that's my biggest beef. They see a headline and then like on Facebook, when there's like a story about, like a murder, we went off the deep end there. There's a murder. And then people are like, well, who was it? Where did it happen? Well, if you click the link, all of those details likely will be there. Maybe the name hasn't been identified yet, but the location probably going to be there. Read the freaking article. Like, I think that's my beef is people just like they see Car Dealer Pro 2.0 talk, Hobby Evolution episode 1000, whatever. And they're like, oh, it's just another Hobby Evolution without even going there. My problem, people assuming. You know what assuming does? JW, what's up? Good morning. Cooter says, sorry to hear that. I should have bubble wrapped it better. It's the USP, like my Rick Russell bobblehead, which is down in the right corner. He also was decapitated by the USPS. But with Rick, he has a hollow head. Rick Russell's a cheap bobblehead. He has a hollow head, so you can just like sit it on top of the spring. Sandberg, that's a good bobblehead. It's a solid bobblehead. So I'll just get some super glue and we'll be good. What else? I think I have another bobblehead that was damaged in the mail. I know Russell was. Tiger 727, what's up? Merry Christmas to you. Dan says, I'm curious, with the increased speed of listing, do you think this will speed up your path to the next eBay store subscription level? Will it speed up in the grand scheme? Yes, it will. Because I'll be able to list faster. but I'm still not going, like, I'm not just going to list willy-nilly. I'm still strategic on what I list. So it's not like I'm going to get 20,000 listings this week. Could I? Yes, absolutely. Will I? No, because I want to list stuff that sells. And so it's going to take a little, it takes a little longer. That if I just want to list any card that I see, I can get there super fast, but I want to be strategic because I want to have what sells in my eBay store, because I want to keep that, inventory rolling over, and I don't want to waste listings essentially. And no, Low Roller Scratcher, I'm not going to do variation listings. Michael, good morning. Value Box Singer says, Dan, did you have a licensed version of Excel Price? That would be my question. Correct me if anyone is able to, but I had to pay for the Excel version on Car Dealer Pro years ago. Mikey says the return policies don't work other than money back when uploading to eBay. Well, I think right now that might be the only option on returns. And that's what my returns is set to. So I guess I see in a lot of like we mentioned yesterday, and that's why it's hard to create a platform like this tailored to everybody, because it's so unique that everybody doesn't use it the same way. When it comes down to, there are, I would be curious, with eBay settings, how many different combinations there are. There's got to be a million different combinations, because maybe you do money back. Maybe you don't even accept returns. Just on returns alone. Do you accept returns but no money back? Trade, is it 14 days? Is it 30 days? Is it 60 days? Oh shit. Oh, move too fast. Oh man. So there's so many combinations, and that's just with returns. And then you have shipping. What are your shipping policies? Do you do free shipping? Do you charge for shipping? How much do you charge? You're not going to charge the same as the next person. Do you use standard envelope? Do you use bubble mailer? Do you use standard envelope and bubble mailer? Do you use standard envelope or the option of bubble mailer? It's just, and you can't just say, well, everybody does this, because then you're going to have 90%, 95% of the people say, well, it doesn't work for me. Let's see. That's why mine failed, says Mikey. Kyle says, a loyal listener would easily remember the times you have talked about what this show is. It gives you a start to the day with human interaction. And that's a good point. I've learned a ton about eBay from this show. That's true. I started this show for me, and I didn't care how many listeners I had. I started this just because I wanted to talk. And I wanted people to watch and listen. More importantly, I wanted people to be in the chat, because at least I saw, I knew somebody was listening and we could have a chat, even if it was one person. If they were active, that's all I needed, just to have a coworker in the morning. That's how it started 1,060 episodes ago. The topics are just a placeholder. I got to type something in there. Although the first several hundred episodes, I don't think I did title. It was just Hobby Evolution, episode 17. With the same thumbnail every single day. And then my buddy, who doesn't do social media, was starting to get into YouTube videos and stuff. And he's like, you should do this and this. And then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, more people are watching my videos just by creating a different thumbnail each day. Actually putting topics in the title. Neil says, looking to buy a new document feeder scanner. Where do you recommend to buy it from? Reach out to Rico. RICOH, Don Caruso. Let me grab an email for you. And there's going to be there is an affiliate program with them that I haven't. Where's my email at? I've got to look through that this week. Here it is. Okay, Don. So reach out to Don Caruso. I'm going to leave this up so I can read it. I haven't read it. So for information on Rico scanners, Oh, I spelled that wrong. Rico Scanners. Email Don Caruso. There we go. All right. So I just dropped it in the chat. So that's where I would start first. Reach out to Don. There's basically 3 scanners that are recommended for cards, just based on how the scanners are built: the 7030, the 7160, the 8170. Depending on what you're willing to pay, obviously the 8170 is the best. It's also going to be the most expensive. You reach out to Don, you'll get a little discount if you drop my name. If you want to start small, I started small. I bought new, but I started with the 7030, and it worked great for me. And then I sold it, and to a viewer here, and to my knowledge, they're still using it. You can buy refurbished 7030s and 7160s. There may even be 8170s been on the market for about a year now, so there may even be some refurbished 8170s out there. So if you want to go that route, but if you have issues, the one potential problem, if you buy refurbished, there may not be a warranty. So these are some of the things. And with a scanner of, if you spend, even if you buy a used one for $300, $300 is significant. And if it breaks down in 2 days, you're SOL. So you have to weigh those options. I know some people who bought refurbished and haven't had any issues. So there are options. Where are we at? Value Box Digger says, you got kidney stones going on there or something. No, it's just I'm fat and out of shape, and that's not good on your back. Neither is sitting in an office chair for 14 hours a day or sitting on the floor sorting baseball cards. I do know I had kidney stones. I do know what kidney stones are like. This is not like, now it's like what it was, sciatica. Because it's like a pain. It's right here, and it's kind of going down my leg. Yeah, kidney stones, not fun. Mikey says, same here, Kyle. He's taught me more about eBay and how to run my business than the 4 years of college. That's impressive. Thank you. Kyle says, I had over 20 years eBay experience before tuning in here and have picked up tons of tips. Thank you. I was just saying, I know there are plenty out there that do see Hobby Evolution as a no-topic show, and that's okay. He runs his show his way. It's just not everyone's cup of coffee. Absolutely. And I'm okay with it. And everybody has their preferences. I'm not a fan of interview shows for the most part. Because it's usually it's the same stuff in the hobby. Now, here's the thing. It's not just a okay, so I know sometimes we joke about, well, Diamond King, what's his name? Perez. He's making the rounds. He's on every hobby podcast. And I know we joke about, this is the topic today. Everybody's talking about superfractors and fanatics and this. And it's every podcast is talking about that. It's like that in probably every podcast form. I notice I listen to true crime podcasts, and there's 5 or 6 different ones that I'll tune into depending on what case they're talking about. And I'll notice all of a sudden one of them talks about this case, and then it seems like Jean-Benet Ramsey is all of a sudden back in every podcast is now talking about the Jean-Benet Ramsey case. So it's not just with hobby content. I think it's just with content in general, and it's like a follow the leader. Somebody's going to, talk about this, and then all of a sudden everybody talks about it. Porter says, I have a Kerry Wood First Bowman that has stripes in the background. Yes, that's the, what's it called? The flag variation. I haven't been able to figure it out. I have it set aside. So that is the, I'm going to leave that screen up. So Bowman back in the day, late 90s, early 2000s, they did a flag variation. So Kerry Wood was an American flag. Somebody from Cuba had the Cuban flag on the background. Internationals. So they fell, I think that's what it was. Yeah. 1 per pack. It had the flag of the player's home country. in the background. So just let them talk and let it roll off you. That is good. You know, it just seems, and I don't know, and I brought this up in a group chat I'm in. It just seems like there's more and more negativity lately. And maybe that's just because maybe I'm just paying more attention than I should. And I should just let it roll off my back. And I don't know if there's more negativity now than there has been, if it's any different. I mean, there's always negative, especially on social media and in the hobby, there's always negativity. Or maybe I'm noticing it more, or maybe Twitter's algorithm, since I engaged with this, it's like, oh, we're going to bring you all of this bullshit. So I don't know. It's like, it's Christmas, man. It's December 21st. We shouldn't be negative. The days are going to start getting longer tomorrow, I think. Or wait, no. I think tomorrow's the shortest day of the year, right? And what's tomorrow? Saturdays, they start getting longer. So, but I do, and somebody said, well, this time of year can be tough, and I get it. Like, I never understood growing up. Like, I loved Christmas. Oh, I love Christmas. And my mom was big into Christmas. She put like the nuts and the nutcracker on the table. When I went home last week, I walked in. My wife doesn't do candles. But my mom is like a candle fiend. And so it always smells like, and I love the smell of those food candles, right? Love food candles. I walked into my mom's house last week, and it's like, it just like instantly smells like take you back to a time. And it's like, it's Christmas time, even though my mom doesn't do a tree because she has 2 cats. My mom's a cat lady now. Can't do trees because of the cats, but it smelled like, it's like, oh man, took me back. Where was I going? Oh, so growing up, my dad was like a bah humbug. And I never understood, like, Dad, it's Christmas. But my dad had a rough childhood. Like, he grew up dirt poor. Like, they didn't have indoor plumbing until, like, my dad was a little older than other dads of people my age. You know, he was, how old was my dad was like 42 when I was born. So he was of an older generation. Like, I had classmates that had grandpas around my dad's age. So he grew up like he didn't really have Christmas. And so I didn't really realize until I became an adult. And like now as I hear stories, because my dad didn't share this stuff. Like he didn't want to talk about, his childhood and stuff like that, because it wasn't a very fun one. But now as I hear stories, it's like damn, like I wish just so you could be, not like poking the bear like I'm a kid. Yeah, it's Christmas, and just being a little jerk off. But now I understand. It's like, yeah, and like you go to, and especially like being a kid, if you're somebody, because I had some rough Christmases where, my dad lost his job, and, my mom's going back to school, and like things were tough, and I'm going to school after Christmas. Well, what did you get for Christmas? Like and it's like putting kids on the spot. And I hated that. And I think it's probably different today than how it was in the 90s, where like we recognize these things now. Like, don't embarrass like somebody that like, oh, Johnny over here got Reebok pumps and a CD player and a Sega Genesis and all these, and the next kid got a pair of socks. Like, it's just so like, and look, it's like, okay, now I get it. Like, it could be tough. Maybe you lost a loved one this time of year, and it's just a reminder, like Christmas time. Oh shit. It's a reminder of losing loved ones. Or it's, maybe you had a tough upbringing, and, you're reminded of, not having the things that your friends or your neighbors did. So I get it. Raphael, what's up? Good morning. Let's see. Low Roller wants to know, am I going live tonight to open more Goodwill? Probably not. Maybe. Probably not. Porter says Stars and Stripes. Yes. So that it's probably the international. Brian worked a charity event and needed to post some signage. I left my blue painter's tape behind and have been mailing cards out without painter's tape. I am the worst. Some people would say you're the worst for using painter's tape. There's like the no tape brigade. No tape. 70-30 versus 71-60. What is the main difference that makes the price difference worth it to you? So initially I thought wrong, that the software was different, but I think you can use either of the software on both scanners, which I use the 70-30 without the better software for a year. So right off the bat, so the 71-60 is twice as fast. So with the 71-60, you can scan 60 cards a minute, which I think it's actually fast. I think with cards, it's faster. And the 70-30 is 30 cards per minute. So the 71-60 is quite literally twice as fast as far as the speed goes. That's probably the biggest difference. Let's see. Brian says doing yoga equals not having a bad back. I actually thought about that yesterday because there was a meme going around I saw something and it was about a yoga position. Might have been somebody tweeting. And it was like it looked like a sexual position. And so I'm just like, I'm trying different things yesterday on the floor, like laying straight on a hardwood floor on my back. Like, oh, this feels so good. And I'm like, you know what? I should do some yoga. Like I need to like Google yoga and start doing some yoga. I was going to message Zach, be like, hey, I need some yoga advice. I have been to a chiropractor. I am not big on chiropractor. I have friends that are chiropractors, but I am not a big chiropractor fan. I threw my back out several years ago, and like I couldn't even like walk. And so I went to the chiropractor, and I went like 3 times, and they're like, "Well, you need to come back 3 more times." And it's like, "But I'm fine now." Like, I don't want to keep giving you money. So it didn't. So here's the thing. The chiropractor what he did not help. What he taught me helped. So he told me to do these like core exercises. Those helped more than just adjustments. So I should probably go back to doing that. And I think some of them were like the thrust or whatever. Hobby Evolution is a friend I see first thing in the morning. Gets me ready for my workday. Keep them coming. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. Saturday's my birthday. Mikey says, how did you learn so much about eBay so quickly that you can teach us about? So how time, experience. So I learned so much about eBay from just doing it over a long period of time. I started selling on eBay in 1999, which I think might have been before you were born. So that was my first eBay account. I think I opened in early 99, and I was buying and selling on eBay in 99, using web TV. You had to email your winning bidder and say, hey, you won my item. Please send $5 plus 99 cents shipping for a total of $5.99. Check your money order. And then they mailed you through the USPS the payment. You took the payment to the bank and deposited it, because we didn't have smartphones that you could just scan the check and deposit into your online banking account. You had to actually go to the bank. And then you would ship their item, and it's like a 4-week process. So my first eBay store was in 2004, 2005, somewhere in there. So I've been selling on eBay for a long time. Neil says, have tons of different Cubs cards. How do we know which ones you need? You really don't. Because I don't have them organized. Sometimes it's just like, oh yeah, I think I need that. And sometimes I'm wrong. So I've been trying to collect the Adon Sanchez Rainbow on Bowman Chrome, and which I have a red auto coming. I spent way too much on that. And I bought what came in the mail yesterday. It's the third, a fuchsia pink vapor refractor, and I had 2 of them already. It's like, so I need to go to my trading card database, and I don't know. I think what happened was I'd go on these sprees and I'd bid on things, and then I would check my and then like a few days later, I would go on another shopping spree, and even though I already won some, it's not in my trading card database yet because I haven't received it. And I think that's why I've doubled up on multiple Adon Sanchez. So hopefully Adon Sanchez does something and I have these multiples that I've been buying. Zach says a lot of negativity you are feeling is also related to many you interact with participating in, quote, retail sales during the busiest shopping time of the year. Trickle effect. That's a good point. It's the audience that I'm consuming. There are some accounts that pop up, and usually, and I don't even follow them, but I disagree with a lot of their takes. And so I usually disagree with the takes, which means I interact with them. So what does Twitter do? Even though I don't follow them, you interact with this person. So I don't know. Do I just, because I don't think mute works on Twitter. Man, just block them. I don't want to see your shit anymore. Mike Summer, today is the shortest day. So today is the winter solstice. Okay. So today's the shortest day. Days get longer tomorrow. It's all downhill. It's all downhill from here. Longer days, baby. Mikey says, what is your promotion ad rate now on eBay? It's still at 12% on dynamic. So capped at 12%. I do dynamic, and it's capped at 12%, which seems like most of the ads coming in are 12%. I will tell you though, when I went to, I did an experiment. I capped at 20% for about a month. And I've said this multiple times before, the highest ad rate that came in was 16%, even though I had it up to 20%. See if I can see to some of my sold. By the way, I'm going to tweet this later this morning. I sold a bunch of 89 and 90 Donruss overnight. I love those sales. 90 Donruss Larry Walker rookie. Sold one of the SI for kids. Ad rate. Ooh, that one came in with no ad rate. I like those. Let's see. This one came in ad rate of no ad rate. Huh. Well, how about that? Maybe I'll go check to see. But yeah, I have dynamic ad promotion or whatever it is, capped at 12%. Brian says there are a lot of bars and breweries that hold darkest day type events. Since it is the shortest, darkest day, they serve wonderful dark beer. That's a good little promotion. Value Box Digger says it's about gratitude. Never let the things you want make you forget the things you have. Well said. Low Roller says today kids are getting PlayStation 5s and driving Teslas. None of the kids I know are driving Teslas, or they're probably playing PlayStation 5s, but I don't see too many Teslas with kids. Todd says, new to the show, any vintage collectors in here? Is there a lot of vintage at your Madison show? A ton of vintage at the Madison show. So I don't know, Todd, if you're on Facebook, we have a Facebook group. It's called Hobby Evolution on Facebook. Just type in Hobby Evolution on Facebook. It should get you there. I know there's quite a few vintage collectors that are usually in the chat. By the way, a Hall of Fame card collector in here, Mikey's got a great vintage collection. There is a lot of vintage at the Madison Card Show. December 30th is the next show, so I'm going to run through the vendor list and point out some of the vintage dealer. I mean, I've got some. Did I delete somebody? I've got an empty spot in there. Uh-oh. I don't know what that is. So let's see. Tony Gordon runs the Oak Creek show. He's got great vintage. He will be set up this month. Gary George has awesome vintage. Some of these guys are first-time dealers, so I don't know what they have. Greg downstairs has an amazing vintage. He's got pre-war. He's got a whole showcase of 1887 Old Judge. He's got some really nice stuff. He'll be down on the first floor. in the back corner. Let's see who else. John has some vintage. Jim Lyons, one of our sponsors, the Lions Den. He's up front in front of the concession stand. He's got a lot of, he does antiques. So he always has an amazing vintage selection. Let's see who else has good vintage. Baseball Card Exchange is going to be set up. I'm not sure what they're bringing. I do know they're going to be buying, and they will be accepting sealed wax for authentication. Let's see. There's Greg. Let's see who else has vintage. And some of the ones that I'm kind of glossing over, Lambricks up front, they have quite a bit of vintage. Mark has a ton of vintage. Mark Ammonrood out of Iowa. Let's see. Jim has some vintage. John has vintage. So yeah, quite a few vintage. And those dealers I mentioned have good vintage, like nice stuff too. Orlando's in the house. What's going on? Neil says, what do you think is the best scanner for cards in penny sleeves and chrome prism cards? So unfortunately, there isn't a good scanner for penny. Well, the only scanners that are good for penny sleeves are flatbeds or overhead. Feed scanners, I would not recommend putting penny sleeves through scanners. I know some people do. They take the rollers out. They do some other things. I'm not going to say one way or another. I would just recommend not doing it. Chrome Prism, I use the 8170 and I've had decent success. Feed scanners is tough though. I don't know the tech lingo as far as like what settings you should have for the perfect scan. I just scan. Some of them look like shit. Some of them look good. I've had people reach out. Hey, you're using a feed scanner and this is a really good scan. How did you do it? I don't know. I just scanned it. The next card you see may look like shit. 7030, 7160, 8170. The 7030 is not, that's the scanner I had. It was not very good with Chrome and Prism. It was good with, what I noticed was, this is on the 7030 model from Rico. It scanned Topps Chrome products really well, but it did not scan Panini Chromium, like the Prisms, not at all. Like I didn't even list. When I had the 7030, I wouldn't even list football and basketball because of how bad it would scan. It was like unscannable in the 7030. Mikey says, do yoga with your wife. My wife doesn't do yoga. Hey, maybe she would. Yoga by Adrian on YouTube is great. Thank you. Brian says chiropractors are snake oil salesmen. DDP Yoga is legit. Yeah. Diamond Dallas Page. Hobby Evolution Yoga episode 1 live tomorrow. There you go. That means I have to wake up early. Let's see. Mikey was born July of 2001. There you go. Let's see. I did not sell Beanie Babies. I did not get into the Beanie Baby craze. Let's see. Sal Dougie's here. What's going on? Good morning. Last day of work 2023. Hey, I'll drink to that. My coffee, my Trader Joe's coffee. Sal Dougie. And so let me guess. I bet there's at least one person in your office that says, see you next year. Dad jokes. Value Box Digger says, speaking of shopping, how is everyone doing on their Christmas shopping? I'm hitting the store this morning and avoiding until after the new year. I have not bought a thing yet. So I do need to go and pick up like the stocking stuffers and just the small things that we'll get. Let's see. Brian says, it's sad how they take advantage of people just like psychics, tarot cards, and people selling fake 86 Fleer Jordans. eBay back in the day was the Wild West. Had a winning bidder show up at my house while I was mowing the lawn. Not cool. Wow. Now I did do some, when I was in Macomb, there was an area collector who, to save on shipping, would come and pick stuff up. So, but like, he didn't just show up. He didn't just show up. The eBay man, it was crazy back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Vintage all day, says Brian. Look at that thumbnail. Look at all that. Pretty vintage. Collector's Dream started eBay in 98, had to mail checks and wait for checks to clear. Wasn't that, I mean, just insane. Like, to think about it today, like with what we had, like, I mean, every step of the process is like so much more streamlined today than it was 20, 25 years ago. Orlando's Lane is vintage. Bruce has a ton of vintage in Maplewood right now. Not sure if he's bringing it to Madison, but no, he's setting. Yes, Bruce will be set up. Make sure I had him. I'm pretty sure I had him on the list. I might have. Bruce. Am I on the right month? Maybe that's the name that got deleted. I don't see Bruce on here. Yeah, Bruce is setting up. Shit. See, this is what I always am scared about, is like accidentally deleting names. Where is he? Ben, I got you down. I thought he was up toward the top. Okay. Let's see. Brian says, I've had my eBay store for 6 years. Originally used to help my mom sell some old tchotchkes. Now morphed into a small side hustle to help finance my hobby. Love it. TD Sports Cards, what's going on? Good morning. Jordan, good morning to you. Low Roller doesn't have to work again. He's retired. Shane says, I've been listing old school and I scan Chrome with a flatbed scanner and use the wand on the eBay pick editor to brighten the scan. Helps quite a bit, but doesn't brighten too much. Sal Dougie says, my son and I are going to the Jets-Browns game in Cleveland, December 28th. Nice. Hall of Fame card collector says, people still have checks. Yeah, I get personal checks sometimes from dealers. I got a couple dealers that will give me personal checks. So they're not completely extinct. Shane says, lots of people do. Even I do. I only use them for some bills. Yeah, I have I don't know where my checks are. Like I have, I think I can tell you, I have written exactly for my business. I have written 3 checks because I had, they gave me 3 like starter checks. And it's like, I don't think I'm ever going to write a check. The last one I used was to pay the movers when they moved all my frickin' cards. That was an expensive check. But yeah, I don't even know where my checkbooks. I have checks. I just don't know where the checkbooks. I don't think I've written a check from my personal account in several years. Let's see. Good to know. Mikey uses his debit card. Red Light 34s in Key West. Going to look for a card shop. Awesome. Key West. I love Key West. Let's see. Oh yeah. We're going to review the Goodwill goodies. Yeah, we're an hour in. We can get to the topic, right? Shane says, I use my debit card on some, but some places charge $10 to use a debit card to pay a bill so they get a check. Yeah. TD Sports Card says, my AOL email stopped working. My MySpace is being littered with Pfizer ads. What is the world coming to? Ben says, note to self, get more vintage in my inventory in 2024 so I don't get accidentally deleted from the Madison show. We won't delete you. So I have some stuff. So let's try to bend over. Oh, fuck. All right. Maybe this wasn't effective. Shit. I don't know if I can bend over to get these cards. This is great. Like, they're literally like and I can't reach them. All right. I think if I get down like this. Okay. All right. Fuck. Whew. Just to pick up baseball cards. Let's see. Mikey wants to go live again. Probably not going to go live because I don't know if I can get back up. Neil says, stand up and bend with your knees. Not my knees, it's my back. That's no porcelain god. So hopefully there's something good to show off in here since I went through all that work to get out of my chair. So here's an Obsidian. So this is all came in a 5. This was all in a 5-row box. A lot of it is just like Bowman Chrome, but this is numbered to 75, Jordy Nelson. Some Prism Silvers. Excuse me. Here's a Jeff Okuda, numbered out of 249. It looks like these are just commons, and they're all over the place. Well, I pulled this because I thought there's something. I don't. Here's a Drew Lock. I mean, he's a nobody, but numbered out of 75. Melvin Gordon out of 149. Let's see. Bradley Chubb to 149. Matthew Stafford, that's out of 75. Randos. Okay, well, this is not the pile that I wanted to pull out. Jake Fromm out of 50. So, hey, if he ever, you never know with the backup quarterbacks. Oh, there's actually been quite a few autographs in this palette. Here's a Grant Delpit rookie auto. Tua Prism rookie. There was a big card in here somewhere. I don't know if I can get it. Hey, here you go. I can just lean back in my chair like this. Hey, a Bobby Witt first paper. Maybe it wasn't in this box. Oh, no, that's not it. It's the top loader. Huh. Well, what it was or is it back there? Maybe I set it aside. There was an Orlando Arcia auto to 25. So I've got a lot of crap down here. There's like 7 inside sports swimsuit issues autographed by the cover model. Her name's Carrie Arnholt, something like that. It's from like 1994. What else did I find? There's a Brock Purdy, a bunch of Otanis. What's down there? Nothing down there. Oh, wait, what's... Oh, those are just the tall boys. All right. A lot of SI for kids, like a stack of SI for kids. I've already listed. I've got some offers on the Steph Curry. There's Landon Donovan, Sue Bird. Whole stack. I listed a bunch last night. What's this? All right. Where are we at? Let's see. Did Bo hurt his back or just buried himself in cards? Both. Both. Do you have your life alert with you in case you fall and can't get up? I'm going to have to keep my cell phone next to me, man. First person to gift Bo a gopher grabber at the next Madison show wins free Cub cards. There you go. I feel you. Looks and sounds like me when I wake up in the morning. Yeah. Like sometimes I think about like when I'm going through this, because this happens every once in a while. And it's like, man, I wonder what it's like to not be in pain just putting on socks in the morning. And then it goes away, eventually goes away. It works itself out. And then I'm putting socks. It's like, man, and it's such an easy task, like putting on socks. You take it for granted when you have back pain. And it's like, I can't believe I couldn't, like, it took me a minute, 2 minutes to put on socks. Dave says, I remember when eBay stopped allowing checks and cash, everyone said they went to PayPal. That was the beginning of the end. Oh, yeah. See, people hate change. People hate change. People absolutely hate change. I'm not doing online banking, and here we are. Brian says, wow, dude, get some heat on that lower back. Start with some light stretching, then graduate to some ab workouts and yoga. Consult a physical therapist to help with proper workouts. I do have a heating pad upstairs that I'll probably be putting some heat on it. Cash on delivery. Yeah. Back in the day. Bought a small collection 2 days ago. Lots of hockey. Is Low Roller the hockey collector? Yes. Hit him up. Hit up Low Roller Scratcher. He collects hockey. He will buy all of your hockey. Scott says, list that lock ASAP. He got that Monday night win versus the Eagles. Oh, really? I thought he was like a third string quarterback somewhere. Okay. Well, thank you, Scott, with the tip. Cooter says, waiting for you to roll your chair over. Card on the floor. Brian says, wait a minute. Car dealers are unhealthy and don't move a lot. Never heard of that before. I know, right? It's like, what do you do all day? Well, I sit in a chair and either type at a computer or list and ship and list. That's all I freaking do. I need to get out and move around. Yoga and low carb diet changed my life, broke my back in ski accident, never looked back. Oh, wow. All righty. So there's not much left to I can't really show anything else because I can't reach it. I don't want to get down and not get up. And then you're just going to watch a video of me being like, calling my wife. Can you come pick me up? I'm on the floor downstairs. Paul says he's a bum quarterback somewhere, but he did have a nice 2-minute drive with a dagger TD. Dagger land picker. I've heard intermittent fasting is like the way to go. Let's see. You put Cal Ripken Jr. rookie card in your description. Yes. And I think it's in the other room. Oh yeah. So last night, I picked out a couple boxes. Didn't know what was in it. Could have been all junk wax. One box was all taped up and it looked like it had been taped for a long time. Like just based on how the tape, it'd been there. It'd been taped for a while. And, so I, open it up and there's a bunch of 82 tops and like just thrown in a box and like 90 tops. Like the newest card was, I think 90 or 91. And, I'm going through and there's like George Brett and, star players in the 82 tops and a lot of corner dings too. And so all of a sudden I pick out a pile and laying on top is the Cal Ripken Jr. rookie card with a big old corner ding. So, but hey, a Cal Ripken Jr. with a corner ding is better than a common. So as I keep digging, there's 2 boxes at the very bottom. And I'm like, and still like it, if there's a Cal Ripken Jr. rookie card, like here's my thought process. Like this box hasn't been opened in a long time. And if there's a Cal Ripken Jr., even if it hadn't been opened since the early 90s, mid 90s, a Cal Ripken Jr. rookie card would have been, if somebody was cherry picking this box, that would have been a card that was cherry picked. So I'm like, what's in the boxes? Like, what are they protecting? What's being protected in this box? So the first box I pull out, I'll just go with the second box first because it's a disappointment. Second box was a disappointment. 1993 Topps. So I guess 93 was the newest. And there was not a Derek Jeter. It was, I think, Series 2. Because I had to look up, like, what number is Derek Jeter? And he was in Series 1. So no Jeter. So, but the larger box is what I pulled out first. 1980 Topps. So I'm like, oh, there was a bunch of 80 Topps football in there. This was 80 Topps baseball. And I'm going through. So my first thought is, if there's going to be stars in there, maybe it's not cherry picked. The Cal Ripken Jr. was still in with the 82. So maybe the Ricky Henderson is in with the 80s. I'm going through and all the stars are there. And guess what? Ricky was in there and it's in really good condition. I didn't really give it a once over, but it looks to be, nicely centered. It's been well protected. So that was a nice little surprise. 80 Topps rookie Ricky Henderson, along with the rest of the 80 Topps set. Somebody asked me on Twitter, like, am I gonna sell it or piece it? I'll piece it out because I do not like selling complete sets. I have done it in the past, and it usually opens yourself up to problems. Because either you have to, especially when you're talking 70s and 80s, because I mean, I'll get people that want an 82 Topps common, and they're like, I want a better centered version. And like, you don't know what the next, like, some people may buy it just to have it. Some people may want like the perfectly centered every card, even if it's Doug Bird. So I refrain from listing sets, especially on eBay, because you just don't know what that buyer is going to want from this set. Is he going to go through with a fine tooth comb and, oh, this one's 60-40, I don't want it. There's 7 cards, and I've seen some horror stories. Like, somebody's gone through and there were 17 cards that were off center, and it's like, really, I need a partial read. Like, no, bullshit. Just send the whole thing back. And then if they send it back, what if it's missing the best card? So I'll sell the Ricky Henderson. It's from a Goodwill pallet. So, I'll list, fire through on Cardi the Pro and get those up in no time. Where are we at? TD says, TD says, Bo needs kids. That'll loosen him up a bit. No, I don't need kids. Did you get your box yet? I may have. Did you send it to my P.O. box? I did have a box that I haven't opened yet. Let's see. Brian says, let me know if you fall down and need help getting up. Ben says intermittent fasting is legit. 16 to 8. The 16-8 method worked great. We've got a friend, one of my mother-in-law's friends, talks about intermittent fasting. She's big on it. Sounds interesting. Dairyland Picker says, if you ever want to split a Goodwill tractor trailer, let's go. James says the Ricky Rookie is nice. Just bought a real nice one for $40. There you go. Hey, I'll be happy with that. If not more. TDPC's Ricky, Maddox, and Clemens also. Flipping Sports Guy says, reminds me of when I opened an 82 Donruss wax pack a couple years, got a pretty jacked up Ripken rookie across the bottom of the card. I was so mad. Mike, what's going on? Says the 1980 set sells for 110 to 180 on eBay. Will you get more than that pieced out? I will. Will I get it faster? Probably not, because it's going to take, you know how it works, selling singles, but I don't want to deal with the hassle of selling the set. First, I got to go through and make sure, even though the Ricky's in there, I have to go through, and there's a lot of time involved, even if you just sell the set, because I don't know if it's complete. I'm assuming it's complete because the Ricky Henderson rookie is there along with other cards, but I have to go make sure. And if it's not, sorted, I've got to sort it. I've got to make sure there's not damage. And that's just a pain in the ass. I'd rather, here's the Ricky, because the Ricky will sell fast. The others will piece out fast. So I'm all about the turn and burn. Get that money back quick. Sets can be a pain, but much like PWE, the risk is way overblown in my experience. I've had some poor experiences with it. And I think just like PWE, people like complain about PWE. It's probably because they've been burned more than they would have liked. But it's also, it kind of goes both ways with issues you have. Like with PWE, I've done 100,000 PWE shipments. Have I had issues? Absolutely. But, and the more you do, the more issues you'll have. But if somebody does 10 and has 2 issues out of 10, they're like, well, if I have 2 issues out of 10, that's not worth it to me. But that's a high number. And, those of us that have done thousands, tens of thousands of shipments that way, we know that's, not a percentage that's going to sustain. It's going to be less than 1%, less than 0.5% in reality. Same with sets. Yeah, I could do sets. It's just, I don't want to take the time. to go through, make sure it's complete, make sure the condition, and then sell it, because I can list all of it in, that I could list that whole 1980 set as singles using Card Dealer Pro now with 2.0, how fast it is, in probably 20 minutes, 700 cards. Because it's going to be all, should be 95% accurate. So that's the method I'll take. Paul says if it's at the P.O. box, it may be there a while. And yeah, I haven't been checking my mail at the P.O. box regularly because it's freaking packed. So I just drive up the blue box. Fortunately, the blue boxes, I have a choice to make as I drive in to the Middleton post office. And if there's not a parking spot available, I can turn left and then drop my envelopes in the blue boxes. The only issue is if I have like a fat bubble mailer or boxes, then I have to actually go in and drop them off because the boxes aren't big enough. The blue boxes aren't big enough. Mike says, yes, if it isn't already a number order, having to sort it to confirm is definitely a factor. Alrighty, so that's what I had. So yeah, that was some of the stuff I found last night. And I still have 75% of the pallet still to go through. It's still in my car. So I'm just but now I'm like making a mess. Although with my back, I don't know if I'll be able to pick this stuff up from the floor. I don't know. Maybe I should, just to stretch out and not be sitting in a chair all day. Alrighty, so that's what I had for today. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. Tomorrow's a Friday. We play Name That Player, so tune in for that. Tune in for Name That Player tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Central. I will be live both days this weekend, which is the 23rd and 4th. No show on the 25th or 26th. So have a great Thursday, and we'll see you tomorrow.